Hey, this is Max. I am back with another CSR2 video. This is my pre-July 4th video. I will be gone for the next few days, so there will be no new video until I return. This time I am going to make a quick video for you on the use of the Mitsubishi Eclipse for the purpose of beating Tempest 3 Tier 4. If you have done the Fast and Furious event in the last few weeks, in fact the last week, you should have a Mitsubishi Eclipse somewhat built. Depending on how many crates you pulled, your Eclipse would either be closer to max or it would still be missing quite a bit of fusions. What I have here is an Eclipse that has the S6s available to it, but not quite all the fusion parts. I wasn't so lucky with some of the fusions, but I did manage to get the S6 parts. What I can tell you is that the Eclipse is quite capable of beating the entire Tempest 3 Tier 4 by itself. It will be able to do all the target numbers because it's one of the few cars in Tier 4 that can both accelerate very quick and still achieve all the top speed target numbers. Let's take a look at how I have it set up at this point. What I did is I focused on reducing the parts that are not absolutely necessary to maintain as high amount of nitrous as possible. And nitrous is going to be important to this car for making both the top speed runs and also getting you through the 0 to 60 challenge. So with this car, you can leave almost all of the engine, turbo, and nitrous stuff in and still manage to come under the 625 pp initial starting point. You would rather drop transmission to 4 and tire to 4. And again, I tend to do this all the time, which is I drop body to 0, but body tend to give a lot of pp points by itself, but not always. It really depends. In this case, body could be useful if you want to drop tire to 3. You can squeeze in a little bit of body points, and that would be a balance that can work in your favor. So anything that gives you more of this after you adjust the parts are always a good thing. So let's take a look. Is reducing the tire going to reduce the grip so much that you can't do 0 to 60? Not likely to be a problem at this stage in the game. In fact, body tend to give you a much lower 0 to 60 once you have it installed than without it being installed. So as we get more into trying to get more 0 to 60 runs, you'll see I would try to add the body in more. Top speed should be no problem. 190 mile per hour is the 625 pp challenge speed trap. That's the highest one, and a 3.536 0 to 60 and a 5.046. I'm sorry, 5.060 0 to 100. As you can see from the dyno, all of this is achievable without further fine tuning. And you don't even need to drive the car in a specifically different way. It will hit the top speed before the end of the track without specifically trying to run nitrous super late. This car basically runs on third gear nitrous, at least for me. I think fourth gear nitrous in some situations may be good, but third gear nitrous seems to work pretty well. It'll give you a nice low time as well in the 13s. The opponents start off in the 16-second range, so you don't even have to worry about this until you hit about race. This will get you to about race 38 without an opponent running faster than you. So obviously you have no problems. Every target number hit. So basically for the first 10 races, nothing has to be changed. And in fact, if you really wanted to, you could probably even hit the 210 mark, which is part of the second half of the race in the next 20. So is it going to hit it easily? Probably not. You're better off basically at that point upgrading to the 230 pp point because you have 6 more points you could play with. So what you obviously will need to hit 210, it looks like you're going to need more power, or you lighten the car. Either way would do it. If anything, the 630 pp's 0 to 60 and 0 to 100 isn't that much different than what it is currently. the only thing that dropped is the 0 to 100 drops to a 4.585 from your current 5.060. So given that we're just looking to accelerate more, you can certainly add in stuff like turbo and see if engine will push it over. It will. So you can add turbo. You may be able to squeeze in a little bit of tire, or you can't. Body probably will not work either because at stage 3, it'll bump it up. Oh, perfect. Look at that. It worked. So body, again, gives you a nice jump in Evo points, and that's a good thing. We're going to take a look at that 0 to 60. I suspect it dropped again from 2.6. Nah, not really. It went up a little bit to 2.768. But again, notice the top speed now will go right to 214. 4.570 is cutting it close because you need 4.585 to get the challenge done on the final runs. So how would you do that? You can adjust this a little bit to see if any of this can help make it a little bit quicker. Obviously, less grip seems to produce a slower 0 to 60. Here we can play with this a little bit. Now, what if you think that you're just not going to make the 0 to 60? You're kind of worried about it. Well, just do this. With a little more aggressive tuning, this drops very quickly. So that's the beauty of this car. You don't have to tune it aggressively to the point where you put the second gear at 60, but certainly that could help you. I think generally speaking, even if you have it set up to hit 215, you can still hit these target numbers without much of a problem. And again, no need to drive it in a special way. You just make it through the next 10 races up to race 20, hitting the 210 everything without anything special. You just kind of drive it normal. I usually shift a little early out of first. I don't think you have to. I haven't driven this car much recently, so bear with me. I'm not giving you the best driving technique. Definitely play with it a little bit to see what works better for you. So let's see if we hit the numbers. Yeah, no problem here. Even though it wasn't great, it certainly beat the necessary numbers of 3.5, 4.585, so that's kind of close. 210 miles an hour, no problem. 13.3 will beat all the opponents as far as the half-mile times. So 630 right there was using a little more body, keeping tire at a lower level, and that will now move us up to the next step, which is 640. So at this point, I would add a little bit of grip because you're probably going to need it to keep the car running well. Notice the big jump in Evo. Can we squeeze in something else? For 2 points, probably not. Most of these things, ooh, look at that, it worked. All right, I was going to say most of these things will bump you right over, but that managed to work right there. So looking at this, stage 5 tires, stage 4 trans, 6, 6, 6, 6. Okay, we are now here looking at some pretty impressive Evo points of 953. That probably will get you to a 12 point something run, 12.9. 2.5, 0 to 60 will beat the 3.051 that you need to get. The 0 to 100 is 4.583, so barely changed from the 630 pp, and you should have no problem beating that. Now, the speed trap did go up. Now it's 230. So you probably want to tweak this a little bit and get it up to about 230. Okay, 231 doesn't give you the best Evo. Certainly, it looks like 228 is the best Evo, but it really doesn't make that much of a difference. All you have to do is make sure you can hit it. 230 should be no problem. Tire pressure, you can play with it, but I don't think you need to. Again, 4.155 should definitely cut it, and anything in the 2s will cut it for the 0 to 60, 230 miles per hour. Once you tune it to this point, again, you don't have to do anything more. You don't have to fine tune it for each challenge. This car will let you blow right through the entire challenge without further tuning. And that's the beauty of this car. It's really easy to use for this event because it does both ends, both on acceleration and top speed well, so well that you don't have to actually mess with it. And you ride out your 230 miles per hour right to the end, no problem. All target numbers are achieved without fine tuning, and that will definitely beat all the opponents in the half mile. So right there, you're now 30 races in, and you're starting to get to the tougher ones. Here, the PP points jump a little bit. You can go up to 658. That's a big jump. So what does that allow us to do? Well, it allows you to kind of start putting in some other stage sixes if you want. One of the things you can start doing is you can put body up a little more. You can certainly put transmission now up to stage 5. Now, let's take a look at this before we put more stage 6s in. Okay, let's say we don't have stage 6s for these two guys and that one. Is the car going to make it through to the end? Well, probably not as easy to the end, but it'll make it through this bracket without much of an issue. 658 requires you to run a 3.0 0 to 60, a 3.78 0 to 100, but it does require you to hit 240 miles per hour. Well, that's a matter of moving the needle a little bit, and there's your 242. So that will hit the necessary numbers without too much of a problem. You just have to tweak it so that 240 is achievable. So under 3.78, it's kind of close, but probably not hard enough to get through. So without all the stage 6s, missing as many fusions as I am, at 651 rather than 658 PP points, I can achieve the 658 bracket target numbers. What I cannot achieve yet is that 1.494 0 to 60 that you're going to have to do for the last run, and also the 260 miles per hour. But let's take a look. What can we achieve on 0 to 60 if we really push everything to the limit? Looks like a 1.824. Now, what if I put more grip? Ooh, getting close. Whoops. Not on that side, it won't. Ah! 1.497. 3 thousandths of a second, huh? Wait a minute. Ooh, that didn't help. So maybe we need to play with nitrous just a little more. So it looks like nitrous isn't going to be that helpful here. But is it? What if we use nitrous right away, like we do with other cars that are set up for 0 to 60 runs? Can we get this? Let's try it out. Right? So that is basically the way I would do it for the NSX. You launch at perfect and basically bang, second gear with nitrous and it'll hit 60 miles per hour. Let's see what we got. If that gets under 1.494, you can in fact beat the entire thing, and it did. It got 1.458. That's below 1.494. So you just beat the 0 to 60 challenge for the final races without even getting into the higher stage 6s. So mind you, this is all stage, some stage 6, but quite a few stage 5. Let's go look at that again. So at this point, without more upgrades, without a stage 6 trans, tire, body, the car has hit the target number. And as we all know, these two, intake and turbo, usually are not the best stage 6s. Okay, let's say we didn't get these two, and instead we got two other ones. Let's pick two. Let's pick body. I have no fusion in it, okay? And let's get trans. Let's not worry about tire yet. What does that do to the times? Well, my gut feeling is that it's only going to be better, not worse. Look at that, 0 to 60, 1.247 with the stage 6 body and trans. So the downside, of course, is can you hit now the 260 mile per hour? Well, good question. 260 mile per hour, you're almost at 2.0 final gear. You're going to be running the tire somewhere up here because you want to keep that EVO point up. 232 is what the computer's saying you can do. Wow, that's because nitrous needs to be used. 233. So power is now the issue. Can the car get enough power to hit the final 260 mile per hour within the half mile? May not be able to do it because 234 and 260 is quite a difference. But are we really that stuck? Let's find out. So with this, now you're running at a deficit to try to hit 260 miles per hour. That means you're going to have to use the nitrous later than normal. But you still want to get the car in there quick enough that you're not wasting a ton of your time on the basic acceleration. So you just passed the quarter mile. The question is, can you hit? No, 245. So that's the issue. You're not going to hit 260 without the right upgrades, and looks like 260 mile per hour is going to need some more power upgrades. So let's go back again. So with certain S6s, you know you can hit the final 0 to 60, okay, but you may not be able to hit your 260 mile per hour because you just don't have enough power to do it. But if we had in fact gone back to these two guys for power, stage 5 trans, and the body being stage 5, we can go back and see if this now changes the dynamic of the acceleration so that you can in fact hit 260 miles per hour. 251, now that's a lot closer. And you know you can always push past a little bit if you accelerate just right. In this situation, I think I would still want to accelerate, probably utilizing nitrous a little bit late, and see if the car will in fact hit 260 miles per hour. So turbo engine intake and nitrous again are going to be kind of critical to getting it all the way through for 260 miles per hour. Let's see if it'll do it. We're close. We're at the end. Ooh, and we just barely made it. That was a 260 mile per hour run. And again, this is still running, missing some stage 6s. So here's the issue with the stage 6 balance. If you have the ones that'll get you to run the 260, which are these, but you don't have these, your 0 to 60 is going to be a little bit less, and it's going to be a little tougher to hit. But if you have these guys right here and not some of these, you may not be able to hit 260 mile per hour. Bottom line is, if you have enough of the stage 6s, or if you have enough fusions, you should be able to get it through with this car, no problem. Now, what would happen if we had all these stage 6s installed without worrying about diffusions? Well, even at the fusion status that I have, which is missing entirely for some of the stage 6s, body, trans, part of nitrous, part of intake, part of engine, epic for the turbo. Okay, so I'm missing quite a few fusions here, but I have all the stage 6. Let's see where the car's at. So with that in place, you're looking at 265 mile per hour easy, which means this here is going to be the only thing you have to tune for if you had to finish the race. 11.3 is going to be Donna's final run of 12.4. You'll get the final boss car, no problem either. So you're going to tweak this maybe a little bit, just keep it at 260 and you'll be good to go. That's a no-brainer at that point. So let's take a look at this. Can you get 1.494? Well, absolutely you can. Just have to do that. Okay. with this, what happens is you'll see that the times really come down to where you sit this piece. Now 1.4 something we just saw, right? Let's see, 1.4. Okay, maybe I thought I saw it and I didn't. Oh, I did. Yeah, 1.496. So that's without tweaking this. 1.132. Ta-da! Okay, 0 to 60 should be a no-brainer. So all you gotta do is play with this, put it up, and you get a higher top speed, a lower 0 to 60 right there. Or if you want to do 0 to 60, you do this, and you can see it improves by quite a bit. Then all you have to do is make that a little more aggressive. First gear is probably not going to do it, so you're going to have to do it through 60 miles per hour in the second gear, which is right there. And now it'll destroy it. So there you go. And that's utilizing all the stage sixes. Again, if you're missing certain ones, you have to kind of play with it a little bit. Maybe try to test to see if you can hit the two ultimate target numbers, which are the two hardest ones, before you lock it in for the event. And that is trying to hit 1.4940 to 60 and a 260 mile per hour top speed. If your car is set up with enough fusions, but maybe missing, say, one or two of these as sixes, I think you should be able to do this still without much of an issue. Not having tire and trans probably isn't going to be a deal killer, but not having this, these, or that may be a deal killer. So you have to really play with your car to know. It's not going to be easy for me to just say, okay, this will work and that won't work. Everybody's car is going to be slightly different on fusions and on parts. So again, 1.4 is quite possible with those three stage sixes removed. So now the question is, can we hit the actual numbers for 260 mile per hour? Well, that's going to be kind of tricky. It looks like it probably won't. So that's something you have to think about. If you don't have the intake stage 6, it seems like to me you're going to have a bit of a struggle to try to hit that 260 mile per hour, even if you had body. Now, if you had intake stage 6 without the body, tire, and even trans, we know that it can still work out to hit the 260. So that's going to be something you definitely want to be careful of, to see which ones you have and don't have, and make sure you don't end up shortchanging yourself somehow. So here it says 249. Okay, the question is, can we push it through driving to make it work? Let me try it. So I'm going to let it right through second and start nitrous in third. And let it push. Come on, do it. Got to hit that nitrous maybe a hair later. I think it can do it. So even though it was set up at 250, not even quite 250 mile per hour, I just hit a 258 there. And I think I can hit a 260 just by adjusting the nitrous slightly. So let's try that one more time. Okay, so I hit nitrous in third. I'm going to wait till 6,000 before I hit it. Give it a little extra oomph on the nitrous until the very end. And there it is. Bam! 260 mile per hour. And that is, again, missing some parts that the dyno only said 250. And I just did a 260. So again, this car is very, very good, very versatile and flexible, and is definitely a good choice for Tier 4 Tempest 3. If you have this car, again, even pretty built, missing some of the stage 6s, I think you can still do it. But if you're missing this stage 6 and these, I would probably hold off on using this car at that point. Unless, of course, you have all the fusions and your evil points is somewhere in the 1,100 plus or more, then I think you can still do it. It's, again, something that you have to test on your own before you make a decision. And there is the extensive testing of the Eclipse for the purpose of Tempest 3 Tier 4. I hope that I demonstrated all the variety of possibilities that you could encounter. If I didn't, feel free to make comments and let me know what your concerns are, and I'll see if I can do some kind of testing for you. And again, thank you for watching my videos. Subscribe to the channel if you like to get notifications when I put up new videos, and I'll catch you after the holidays.